Oh my god, why did I sound like that? Oh my god, why did I sound like that? Okay, I'm gonna keep that mute for now. Damn, we'll be using our next 5-6 days off wisely to practice and come back even harder in the lower bracket. Very proud of the team so far. Big improvements only in a few weeks, especially now that we got a great full-time coach only up from here. Oh, let's get to hear. That is great to hear. Alright, so let's open up Discord. Post this in a couple of Discord servers. And then we're gonna start from here. This should be an interesting server. Or interesting stream, hopefully. I would hope so at least. Oh. You know, honestly, the more I think about it, the more I realize I probably should have done this like maybe another day, like tomorrow, because most of these teams are like they're off for the next 4 days, and they're probably just gonna be scrimming. But it's the fact that they have off time, so they have the chance to just break and watch whatever they want and do whatever they want to. But to be honest, I don't want to delay this stream another day because I have no idea what my schedule is going to be like. So, yeah, should be fun. Should be fun. 2-0 T-Dex. Wait. Let's go to Game Changers, North America. Wait, Happy's playing again? Wait, Akumu isn't even alive. Why is this still a registered team? This is done. The troll? This team is literally dead. I don't know why this still exists. But anywho. Alright. So, what we're gonna do is for this stream is we're gonna build a weird comp for Bind. Now, the problem with Bind as a whole is compared to any map in Valorant, there are 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 lanes in total for Bind compared to any other map, right? Most other maps have like roughly 5 lanes. Even Ascent has, well, actually no, Ascent has 4 lanes. Still 1, 2, 3, 4. But the difference is the mid. There's an actual mid in Ascent compared to Bind where you legitimately have 0 mid. There's no such thing as mid. The only mid is like you can consider is this because you have an access point to teleport. But in reality, that requires you having not only this control but this control. Now, on that topic of having these 2 pieces of control, there's a really logical reasoning why someone like Viper is a very consistent meta pick on this map. Purely because she has 2 pieces of util, being a wall and an orb, that actually allows you to control this. So she technically always has a safe passageway to TP. However, the only thing that matters is getting this map control now. So that is actually a reason why people lock in Viper on this map, solely for the fact that she can contain this entire lane herself. Of course, not all the time. Sometimes there's going to be those moments where like people fight this lane early, but in general, she can contain all of this, and that means that you can have the rest of the team. Usually, this is the comp that people like to play. Where's it? Brimstone. This is the comp people like to play. So you'll have Skye, Raze here, probably Sage and Brimstone. This is what people usually like to do. So these two players right here can worry about getting this lane, and that allows for the Viper right here to actually consistently have this lane without having to worry about the extra lane. So that's why people lock in Viper for this map, right? It's not a Sage comp. It's not a Sage comp. This isn't even a weird comp, Fred. But no. So this is just me trying to explain why Bind is the way it is. Why you have someone like Viper that's very strong in this map, because there's no such thing as mid control on this map. So when you actually have Viper, you theoretically could have mid control if you have two pieces here and a Viper util here, because you always have these access points. And so that means that this is allowed to be used at any point. So this is technically mid control right here. You have three people mid, but you have one agent that is designed to hold in an entire single lane by herself. So that's technically mid control. Now, here's where I actually talk about the comp that I was interested in. So, in my opinion, Viper is very, very irreplaceable on this map, right? I think Viper is by far the most important agent for a map like Bind, purely because of this alone, right? There's not many agents that can actually like hold this lane and apply consistent pressure enough. Maybe a Harbor can do it, because a Harbor can technically throw his wall. Oops. A Harbor can technically throw his wall like this, but that's only for 20 seconds into the round. And it doesn't mean that he can consistently put it up, because there could always be some people fighting from here. But generally speaking, Viper is the only agent that can realistically control this entire lane by herself, right? So Viper is always going to be a must pick on this map, right? So what else? What else do I would say is a must pick? Well, I don't necessarily think Raze is a must pick, but I think one of the things that makes Raze really powerful on this map is her entire kit, being they are all space making util. And you have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 5 pieces of space making util, and I think that is really irreplaceable. Because like even like people that play Neon, for example, what space making util do you have? You have technically 4 stuns, and you have a wall, so 5. But it's not as great as people would imagine, because those two, even though you have 2 stuns, that equals to 4. These 2 stuns are for mainly one place, whereas Raze can literally use all these abilities for 4 different things compared to Neon. So Raze is really good on this map. I would not put her out. I would also say Skye is good. Skye is capable of getting info from really far away. I actually did think about maybe putting a Sova in this comp, but I was like, Skye is really good. Her flashes are great. It's easy pop flash value. Her dog gets a lot of map control compared to like Sova Drone, and her ult is, it's obviously going to be really good on this map in general. Nice scrims today, learned a lot. Yeah, totally. Like we scrimmed for sure. So I'm gonna move Sova real quick out of the equation. So these three are obviously the main picks of this map, right? People always choose these 3 no matter what. So now where does the weird stuff come in? Okay, so I decided to choose an Astra as the 4th agent. Although even though in the screenshot, if you look at my posts, it says Brimstone, and that's because the 5th agent is actually Brimstone. Or in this case, to follow the consistency with the screenshot, it technically is this. This is the comp. I have thought about this for like a few days now. I was like, what is wrong with running triple controller bind? And here's where the whole we're not playing that. I know we're not playing that. I don't want to play this either. However, I do think that this could potentially be the comp. So here's the thing. First of all, before I put Astra in the equation, let's talk about like, you know, what are the common 5th picks, right? These are the common 5th picks. You have Cypher, you have Chamber, you have sometimes you have a Breach too. I think people choose Breach a lot these days. You also have some people have chosen Sova, some people have chosen Sage, some people have chosen Jet, right? These are all really solid picks. And you also have what's a really common 5th pick that people choose? Sova. King, here's the name Sova's comes running. Holy. Welcome to the stream, King, by the way. Yeah. Yeah, no, people play Breach on this map. Oh yeah, also some people play Gecko, right? Okay, so let's quickly assess what all these agents have, and why do people like choose them. By the way, King and Surfire, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. 0 good teams. I like that. I like that. True, 0 good teams actually do choose Breach on this match. I don't even think Breach is that good. But Breach has like his merit, right? He has extra flashes. You consider the util that Breach has. He has extra flashes. Is 2. He has a fault line, which is literally just the best stun in the game. Well, that's assuming Riot wants to make it the best stun in the game. You have Breach ult, which is like the Omega fuck you util in the entire game. Like this is literally free side control, regardless of how you look at it. And you have this, right? This is also pretty good. Okay, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4 space making util, which makes him really good. We considered on Virtuoso with Breach, but over Sky, because I was the Sova goat. I think Sova Breach on this map, actually it could work. I think it could work. I'm not sure if I would. Well, you actually can get really consistent info cycles if you think about it, and you actually get a lot more map control, but I'm not sure. Free side control until 3 people get 1 tap by a guy Breach ulted. Yeah, that's why I said sometimes. That's if Riot wants to make it the best util in the game. If Riot wants to make Breach the best agent in this game, they literally could, but they don't, right? But these are the consistent. These are like the consistent like 5th man picks, right? You have. I'm gonna just put like one word that defines them. You have util, right? You have more util. You have more CCs, right? Crowd control abilities, right? In Sova, you have more. You have more info. You have more info in general. With Gecko, you have a little bit of like flex of info and CCs, right? With Cypher, you have info. You have passive info. I think I should put passive info first, but you get the gist, right? You have passive info, and you have what else is it called? You have like cages, right? Cages, you can just call them smokes. We'll call them smokes for now, right? You technically have more smokes, right? So you can actually do some pretty god's work like lurks, right? With Chamber, you have a body, more of, but you have aggro positions with Chamber, right? With Sage, you have a body, you have heals, temporary LOS denial, yeah, that's a way to put it too, which is pretty good if you consider it, right? You have body, you have heals with Sage, and what else do you have with Sage? You have You actually have like a lot of trap potential, right? You have some pretty good traps with Sage. And Sage has a really great wall too. Like her wall is like really strong in general. And then what else do you have with Jet? Let's see, what do you have with Jet? With Jet, you have a body. As King said it, you have temporary LOS denial. You have smokes, right? You have smokes in this case too. You can be aggressive with Jet. Right? You have a lot of options with these like fifth mans, right? Okay, so these are all like consistent, solid fifth man picks, right? Everybody chooses differently what they want. But what about this person? What about Astra? What does Astra have that these people, for example, don't have, right? So I'm gonna quickly erase all these. And what does Astra have? Well, for starters, one, Astra has smokes, which, yes, I know that's pretty obvious. Everyone can tell. She also has CCs. She has combo potential. She has lurk potential. She has LOS denial. She's a body. What else? What else am I missing about Astra that not many other agents can do, right? She has a suck. This is for the combos, right? She has smokes. She has take back stars. So that's, she also has temporary too. She also has temporary LOS denial, and she has consistent LOS denial. So now that we've kind of assessed what she has, also her ult is like, you know, incredibly strong. Like, you know, you don't really need to be like a huge brainer to like understand that, like, you know, the ult in general is really strong. But the question comes down to, how exactly would I run an Astra with the already consistent comp, right? How are you going to slot in someone like her with these agents that already have their designated roles? Like, where does Astra fit in? So the way I thought about using Astra, which I'm going to launch up the game real quick, just so I can go back and forth of like giving visual representations of how I want her to run, is these three abilities, excluding the smoke for the time being, these two are very powerful, right? And if I go to the Astra Wiki fandom, I want to quickly get some stats real quick, just to show you guys something. If we take a look at the regeneration, it's 45 seconds, right? It takes 45 seconds to regenerate both her suck and her stun, right? And it also takes 25 seconds for a star to fully regenerate, or sorry, a smoke to fully regenerate. But it lasts 14 seconds, or you can take back star and do for 1 second, right? And in general, it takes 25 seconds to regenerate all her stars, right? So now, where does that come into the gameplay? Put this window, and let's put a 60 FPS. So the way I was seeing it was, in general, you can burn all 4 of Astra's util in the first 30 seconds of the round. And by the time post plant occurs, you will have enough util, or enough timing to activate those utils. So let me go back here. I have to, oh yeah, I could just close this, okay. So the way I was like looking at Astra was, you can use her like an initiator and also be like a slash sentinel lurk with her. And what I mean by that is, let's quickly end this. What I mean by that is, let's say we're starting on attack side, right? Where would I, as an Astra, like to place my util. Well, for starters, I can place one here. Usually people like to use this to smoke this and just make sure this line is just completely covered. So that way that if you have a Viper wall here, you can work with it and by putting the smoke up. But you don't necessarily have to put the Viper wall up, so that means you don't know if anyone's crossing. You can also put a star right here to deny anybody from getting early showers control. So like if you paired this with like maybe a suck plus a double satchel, that would be big. That's a way. I'm not saying that's the best way, but that is a way. Also, I noticed my stream is very laggy, so give me 1 second. Oops. Okay, this is very fucked. We'll keep it like this, right? You can also use her as a way to like just get like temporary map control too. So let's say I put my star right here. That's not an amazing star, right? But you can generally just like, okay guys, we're gonna take short, take back star, walk up, and you just kill anybody that tries to cross from it, or you use that to walk up to get here. So that way that like, let's say you know a team consistently like flashes here or flashes off of like a trap, or like does a timing. You can put this star right here and that'll change how they want to play that sometimes. Because sometimes they'll use that opportunity to cross and get fucked. Or they'll either try to wait it out and probably flash off of that. And you can use that util as a way to play off of it, right? But the point is, you never really have to burn Astra stars completely to take map control in this game. You could literally do 1, let's say 2, 3, and maybe 4, right? Because you're gonna have 4 stars, right? Let's say you did all 4 of these stars. You could literally do 1, 2, 3, 4. And your team would have all the map control they need. They wouldn't have to necessarily waste all of the util for that instance. So let's say I want to take hookah control, right? One of the things that people like to do is whenever they run solo Astra instead of Brimstone, they'll do like okay, we're gonna concuss the right side, we're gonna nade the left side, and we're gonna peek right side to kill anyone who's stunned, right? Another thing that I've seen teams do is actually back in Game Changers, when I was on Gen G and we played against, what's that team name? It was, well, currently FlyQuest Red, but before it was CLG Red, back when Shinobi was the coach. One of the things that they used to do is they actually used to smoke this. And the reason is because we had a player that liked to play top site here and just spam consistently after they saw somebody or play there with an operator. Well, you can do this to literally get temporary map control and just, clear this side, use util or don't use util, that's up to you. And, it'll be really good for conditioning. You have a lot of options. You don't always have to use the star here as a smoke. You can use it as a suck too if you know that someone plays the right side. Throw a nade and everything. You also can use this long. So for example, if you know that someone likes to jump peek right here, right? You can use this star to cancel that jump peek and get closer. And look at how far I was able to get just from that star alone. Because of a takeback star, I'm able to get up to here. This is like halfway up long right here. A little bit less than halfway, right? But that's still pretty good that I'm able to get all the way up here with just a takeback star. Now, this isn't a great takeback star because people can actually use that opportunity to cross here too, and you're going to actually have to clear this regardless of how you look at it. But let's say you know that someone is in that corner too. Well, maybe if you just adjust this like this way, and then you literally just say, okay, we're going to concuss anyone that tries to peek and tries to save this guy's life while we nade this. And the person that, let's say they get naded by this, oh, they're going to run into the concuss, they're going to get fucked, and you're going to get the trade instantly. Right? So, you actually have, options on how you want to, approach them, right? That's the thing that you have to consider, is you always have an opportunity to use Astra Stars to take map control, and they don't always have to serve the exact same purpose. And so that's for offense side, right? Offense, you actually have an initiator that can be multi-purpose, and her stars can mean a lot of things that you never actually know what they will be. And it's really hard to anti-strat against someone that runs Astra as an initiator, because think about it. If I put a star right here for a side exec, right? Let's say when I'm side execing and I put a star right here, and instead of my Brimstone smoking this, it's an Astra here instead. What are the possibilities that it could be a smoke? Maybe it's not a smoke. Maybe it's a suck this time, and you have a raise nade coming in here. Maybe it's a concuss so that the person double satcheling out won't get fucked, right? You have a couple of opportunities to play off of Astra Util, and you have literally 3 ways of doing it too. What if I put this on top side? What is this gonna do? Oh, I put it for smoke this round, and we use that to isolate the players here and go into elbow, right? That's another way of doing it. It's not a very defined way to play Astra, but the beauty of this comp right here is that you already have set answers for everything, right? You have full lane control with Viper. Also, Saber, I'm gonna check your message real quick. Sorry, I just wanted to quickly get my point across. You have full half of mid. We're gonna call this mid for now, right? You have full half of mid control. You have agents that can do 2 agents that can literally take map control here, right? And then if you pair with an Astra ability, whether it's maybe it's a early concuss, right? So that like anybody that tries to, maybe there's an opera that likes to peek, right? Okay, well that opera cannot peek there anymore, right? Because there's a star here, and that opera has no idea what that star is going to be. But you have 3 abilities that you can use for different reasons to all take the same map control. And so you have an agent that is capable of, 1, being a lurk, so Viper doesn't have to do it all the time. You have an agent that has cross-map util, which is pretty I wouldn't say important on Bind, but it's a nice feature, because one of the things that Brim struggles at is kind of being able to throw util from far away. So if the Brim is right here, and he wants, let's say he knows that they're shower execing, right? They're going through showers and they're just hard execing, right? That Brim won't be able to smoke here in time. So that means that the players have to give up that map control. But if you have an Astra, maybe the Astra has an extra star, and he can say, okay, I'll throw, instead of throwing a smoke here, I'm gonna throw a suck here. Maybe the player that's on A is a raise, and that player has a nade. Well, now he has a way of playing off of it, right? So there's a lot of ways that you can use Astra in this comp, because Astra doesn't have a set defined role in the comp. Astra has a multitude of roles in the comp. And that's the thing about the 5th agent usually in bind comps. It's that their roles are usually the most fluid roles of all time, except Breach. Breach is pretty dog shit. He doesn't really have a fluid role, to be honest. Even Reyna has a fluid role. The Reyna can lurk. The Reyna can entry. The Reyna can be an initiator and just flash for her team the entire time. Like, you have options when you play, like, you know, the normal comp and plus like a 5th, whoever you want it to be. Like, all these agents, they can literally do whatever the fuck they want, because all 4 of the agents will play the exact same, and the 5th agent usually has like a different role each time. Now, I just want to quickly see what Saber said. He said same vibes. What is the same vibes here? We have Jet, Sova, Brim, Sky, and Viper. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 3 smokes, and we have 2 initiators. This is an interesting comp. This was back when they had Doma. I think back then, running this would actually be pretty good, because for a couple of reasons, right? 1, Sky was actually capable of being a duelist at the time, because her flashes were they popped very fast, and you can equip your gun very fast back then. So compared to now, Skye, back then Skye was actually like pretty broken, which is why a lot of teams like to run her.
30 seconds left.
That's a good run.
So if I show a flash real quick, right?
Hawk out.
You see how long it takes my gun to come out?
Hawk out.
It takes a pretty long time. So if I'm peeking a corner, let's say I'm peeking right here, right? And I want to flash here. Okay, I'm gonna peek this. Ready?
Hawk out.
But it's, even if they turn my flash, they kill me usually. If they're a good player, right?
Hawk out.
They can kill me. So it's really hard for me to get value off of that. But like back then, Skye wasn't like that. Skye was like pretty busted. And then you have Breach, who will always play well with the Skye because that Breach can always combine util with the Skye.
Hawk out.
So if I'm flashing here, the Breach can literally stun this entire line for me, and he kills everybody. So, and then you have like Astra util, which makes it even better because Astra is like cross-map util. She can do whatever the fuck she wants from like literally Narnia, and it's gonna be pretty good. So now let's talk about how I would play the comp, right? Because we're gonna be building this comp. We're gonna be trying to see how we can make it applicable in this environment, right? So let's set some guidelines and rules, right? The Viper, we're gonna start with the attack side. The Viper will consistently be doing this setup because as we mentioned before, this is like free map control, right? It's literally free. You will always cause pressure for the defenders, and they will always feel necessary to respond to that, especially if you're getting good value. And if you're not getting good value, then that's a different case. That's a case of not the util, but you as a player, or you as a player, or maybe your coach is not giving you the right info on how to play the lurk, right? Where does Brimstone come into the place? For attack side, actually Brimstone can be used to take first contact a lot more than Astra. Because, or sorry, not Astra, a lot more first contacts than Raze. Because another reason why I thought maybe the triple smokes comp could be the move is because one of the things that you can consider is that, let's say your Brimstone dies. Let's say while he's taking hookah control with Raze, all of a sudden an Opper swings out and kills him, right? Okay, that's unfortunate, right? But you still have a character that can throw 2 smokes, 4 side execs. They won't last nearly as long as Brim, but you still have the opportunity to safely, quote unquote, safely get sight if in the case that your Brimstone dies. And let's say maybe your Astra dies. Maybe your Astra gets opt instead of the Brimstone, right? Let's say your Astra's playing passive here and you have Brimstone and Raze going up long. Out of the ordinary, but let's say that, right? Okay. You can't necessarily use the Astra util anymore to take map control. So these are all useless, but you still have the opportunity to smoke sight. Maybe you have a orbital strike at that point, so you ult sight and you throw a Raze nade back sight, and then you have sight. You have sight, you have smokes. You still have the opportunity to maintain the map control. Maybe you still have a molly. And you still have like answers. You still have like options to choose from, which is the beauty of bind. Because, oops, I don't know why I deleted everything. Because one of the things that makes the standard bind comp really good is that you already have. Why the hell is it doing this? One sec. Okay. This is the wrong map. So, one of the things that makes the standard bind comp good is that you already have consistent answers to a lot of your problems with these 4 agents. You have the ability to play traps. You have the ability to get info. You have the ability to pay post plan. You have the ability to maintain map control, right? Like you can literally hold down showers for a really long time with just these 2 agents alone. a one molly lasts like 10 seconds, I'm pretty sure, or 9 seconds. A raise nade lasts like 8 to 7 seconds, right? That's like 15 seconds of map control that you are holding down, and a brimstone smoke lasts 20 seconds. Add that all together, and that's like 45 seconds gone. That's 45 seconds of map control that you managed to maintain with 2 agents. Now, if you pair someone like Astra, Astra only has 14 seconds on her star, and they're not very, not star, sorry, on her smokes, so they're not very good. But you have the ability to throw combo util. You have the ability to also delay. You have the ability to like fight. Like you could literally fight with your abilities. Like if I throw this Astra stun here, and I have like an extra person, let's say it's the Sky, right? Let's say the Sky swings off of it because he hears people running up. So the Astra throws a star, and then the Astra concusses, and the Sky flashes off of that. You have an ability. You have a chance to fight. You have an option to literally play off of, right? It doesn't always have to be the same answer, and that's the thing. These 4 will always have same answers, but they'll also always have different answers each time, right? That's what makes meta. But then when you add this agent, this gives you like 20 times more options with this alone, right? Because Astra pairs well with Raze. Astra pairs well with Viper. Astra pairs well with Sky, somewhat, not really, but she has the opportunity to pair well with her. Brimstone, not so much. Brimstone is the one agent that Astra doesn't necessarily pair well with. But that isn't as important if you have an agent that can work well with 3 that do the most work on the map in general, right? Because Brimstone, at the end of the day, he has 3 smokes, which are very good. He has a molly. He has a ability to speed up, which is kind of just like a nice feature, I would say. You can also use this for XX2. And like obviously, Orbital Strike is one of the really greatest abilities in this game, right? Nobody can disagree that Orbital Strike is a great ability. It's literally free map control, like every single time. Everywhere you use it, you're just gonna get great value off of it, right? Another thing is with Astra, you also have the ability to hold down a lane by yourself too. So this is the thing that I had to do some testing for myself, just to kind of see.
30 seconds left. Have I told you you're okay? You're okay, fam.
Let's say I'm Astra and I want to play B long, right? Let's say my IGL said, Astra, go play B long. Okay. How am I going to hold down B long? Let's think about it. Assuming I didn't use all 4 of my stars at the start of the round, what can I do to hold B long? Well, I know what some teams like to do is they like to put a star here. Or not a star, but usually they'll put like a Viper orb here or a Brimstone orb here, right? And the reason they put this here is because sometimes they'll have someone playing here and they'll have another person playing here. They'll have a crossfire, right? Generally speaking, if they're throwing a Viper orb here, that means Viper is probably one of these 2 places. And depending on how that goes, the Viper will obviously molly off of this, right? But let's say I'm an Astra, right? And I'm playing here. Well, my smoke won't be good. It's going to be pretty bad, I would say, because they can always hide in it. They can pop flash through it. And they do a lot of things together. But if I have this here, and I always have like that consistent pressure of like just going against this, and let's say I'm jump spotting here, I can throw a suck to isolate fights in general, or to slow them down. Let's say they have someone that likes to dash up or double satchel, even though that's a pretty rare occasion. If I have something like a suck here, they won't be able to beat me and they won't be able to come on this line. And because I have an Astra suck here too, and I get it off, let's say I get it in time, I can run away and still be safe because the chances of them trying to beat that Astra suck is not really good for them. What I cannot do though is if I do a suck here and I peek this, that's really bad. It's incredibly bad because there's a lot of places they can play. This suck alone will only just allow them not to push forward, but they can still hold me down and kill me. But what if someone else was playing here? What if there's a Skye playing here and I had the Astra Star here? Well, let's say Skye calls suck, suck, suck. The Skye flashes, suck goes out. The person that sucked gets killed instantly. Maybe the person that's playing anti-flash will trade the person, so he'll trade the Skye. But that's still pretty good. That's one pick down, and all it required was a flash and a suck, or a concuss maybe. So that's an option that you can do too. You can also do double stars maybe. You can do something like this, right? And you just have someone like jump spot here, probably Astra. You smoke here, and then you're like, okay, I'm just gonna continuously hold this. Make sure they do anything. Oh, they pop flash me. All right, I'm leaving and I'm sucking. They can't beat that though, and you can easily run away every single time. So you have the ability to hold down a lane. The same thing applies with hookah. A lot of people like to recycle the smokes here, and this is a big one. If you are someone that likes to cycle smokes here, instead of just always throwing your Viper Orb here, you can throw an Astra Star here. Or instead of a, let's say you don't throw a Viper Orb here, let's say you throw a Brimstone Smoke here. You can throw an Astra Smoke here instead, and have maybe a Judge, right? You play off of the Judge, and you just play off of anybody that tries to go through. So you have the option to hold down hookah by yourself too, and delay too. And you also have the ability to re-clear / fight hookah. So let's say, oh, they took hookah control. Alright, let's re-clear it. Suck. And then you just kill anybody that's inside. That means that anybody that tries to get sucked through, they get fucked instantly. You can also, say, I'll put it a little more back here, right? Let's say you know someone's playing in the back corner over there. You can throw a concuss, and then you can throw a nade inside of here. So you have a way of re-clearing that too. What about A short? How do I contain A short? Usually people put Viper util here, right? But what if you had a Viper Orb here and you had a Astra Star here? Okay. You have the Viper Orb go up, you have the suck come out, and maybe your Viper's playing short. Your Viper can peek off and literally kill anybody. Your Viper, maybe the suck is a little bit deeper, so your Viper can throw literally a Molly here. And that will literally do double the damage against someone that's playing in here. Let's say I'm an Astra and I'm playing solo here. Okay, I will throw this and I'll throw this. I'll smoke the deep and I'll just hold it for the time being. If they try to dog, I'll spam through. If they're spamming me back, I'll just back off. And then if the first star goes down, which is going to go down in like maybe 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2. Okay, I'm off a little bit. But you have the second star here, and you could play off of that in so many ways. You could just jiggle it. You can just tell someone to play off contact off of it. You can suck if you know that someone's hiding in this corner right here. You have a way of holding down a lane too, and you can do it with other agents as well. And then showers. Showers is a little bit of a hard one, I would say, because a lot of the times teams can easily beat the showers line before you can beat it. So it's a little bit difficult, but you know, this smoke is obviously always going to be very good. If they flash through, okay, they flash, you suck. You get the suck out, that's okay. You don't have a suck anymore for the next 45 seconds. You just back up completely. And there you go. You still have Brimstone smokes. You still have Brimstone Molly. You still have Skye flashes. You still have Viper Mollies. Maybe your Viper's over here and denying A short. You literally used one agent alone, and you denied a whole lane by yourself, which is the beauty of the normal comp. You can all, oops, not this one. You can all contain lanes by yourself, and the fifth agent can literally be whatever you want it to be. It could be a Deadlock, it could be a Cypher, Chamber, Fade, Gecko, Jet, not Raze, why am I doing double Raze? Reyna, Sage, it could be Breach. I did Fade already. Who am I missing? Who could be a potential fifth? Sova, sorry, I forgot King was in the stream. But, the point is, all these agents have very classified roles, but in a map like Bind, you can fit them with any agent. That's the beauty of this, is that any agent can play off of this. And the same thing applies with Astra. Any agent in the normal comp can play with Astra. And you can still have the same amount of map control that you would normally have with the Viper, or sorry, with a Sage, with a Sova. I think you'd have more than Sova, obviously, but you have the option to have that capability. And sometimes maybe you want to do an aggro play. You don't always have to use your Brimstone for that. You can use your Astra util for that. So the point being that I'm trying to get across is that any agent can be the 5th pick, but I think Astra might actually have a lot of capabilities and a lot of easier answers in general than any other agent. The only issue is that Astra is very flexible. By far the most flexible compared to most of the other agents. I think Cypher beats her. Cypher definitely has a lot more capability and flexibility than Astra, I would argue. So Cypher ranks number 1 in that case. And you have Astra number 2. But everyone else, they all rank lower. Gecko is obviously like really low. Fade is also pretty low. Chamber, you know, that's without an argument. Everyone knows Chamber is pretty low. Neon can do pretty well. I think Neon is a little higher than all of these, I would argue. Deadlock, I don't know. I'm going to put her really low for now, though. Jet, also pretty decently low. But she's also very flexible, too, compared to all these. So I'll put her right here. Reyna is also really, really flexible. But I'm going to put her right here. Sage is a little bit more powerful, less flexible. But that's the thing about Bind. Stall is very important, so Sage actually ranks really high. And then, you know, the rest of the agents can be whatever the fuck you want them to be. That's not really the main talking point. The main talking point is, can you run triple smokes and do well with it, right? So I think I spent about like a good 45 minutes explaining what Astra brings to the table. Now I direct the questions to you guys, the viewers. What do you guys think so far? Like, what is something that comes into your head that like maybe makes Astra the worst pick, worst suggestion? You know, what comes to your mind, guys? Because one of the things I saw King Fred say was, you have 0 info except Sky, which is true, but not true at the same time. You can get map control with Astra, and that is pretty good info. But that doesn't mean you. But that just means you have a different type of info. You have map control info. You don't have recon info. You don't have passive info. You don't have I said recon. I said passive. That's pretty much all the info that, you know, something like these two agents would bring. Because these two abilities are recons, and Cypher also has a camp, so that's recon, and these are passive info. You have trips, you have alarm bot, you have turrets, right? So, yeah, you don't have info, technically, but you have a character that is capable of taking map control, which is a pretty huge, important piece of info, especially on a map like Bind. If you want to use less utility, more so, or have regenerative utility, why not just swap for Gecko? Okay, that's true. You technically would have the ability to throw all of these, not all of these, just these two abilities, in a round for maybe 3 to 4 times in a round. That's an ugly 4. So your argument is, if you want to use less utility or have regenerative utility, why not just swap for Gecko? Okay, let's think about it for a second. Let's say I'm playing Gecko, right? And I want to take map control towards showers, right? What can I do? Well, what do teams do in the normal comp? Let's think about it for a second. Some teams will do Sky Flash plus Raise Roomba. That's an option. Some people will do Skydog, and maybe 3 people are behind that Skydog. Let's assume that. What does Gecko bring to the table that will allow these guys to take map control without having more util? He has a wingman, so it's basically a Raise Roomba. However, we discussed that what do people do with Raise and Sky to take map control? They do Sky Flash and they do Raise Roomba, right? Why do they use Raise Roomba? Well, it's because some people will play anti to the Sky Flash, and so if they do play anti and they swing, oh, the second thing they have to shoot is the Raise Roomba, right? And the Raise Roomba travels faster than the wingman. I can't say the specific timing of it, but I know for a fact that the Raise Roomba travels faster. The Raise Roomba also explodes on you, so it does physical damage. Wingman does not. And in general, it's, a lot harder to take showers with just Gecko alone, right? It's really hard because all of Gecko's abilities is able to be broken very quickly. Now you said I would do Dizzy Wingman combo. Loud used to do it on Split. Okay, let's think about that for a second. Let's throw a Wingman, and then we're gonna throw a Dizzy right after. So let's say I'm right here, and I see Wingman and Dizzy, right? Wingman, assuming you throw him at an angle, he'll go in this direction. So he'll hit here, then he'll hit here. If I'm playing right here and I see the Wingman first, I'll be like, okay, I can avoid it for a quick second. I see Dizzy, shoot Wingman, and I can still back off. I can still back off really easily. Wingman, if it's just Wingman alone, I can shoot Wingman and then spray here, or I can shoot Wingman while backing off and I'll get away. Or let's say Wingman sees me, I could literally back away and jiggle and kill Wingman and then maybe kill you, right? So that's why people use like 2 abilities at the same time. Especially these 2, because these 2 have the capability of doing this and getting that map control. Now, what you said is true. You backed off, but you've taken the space. That is correct. That is obviously very correct. However, here's where the problems can arise. We got the map control, right? We got the map control against Dizzy, with Dizzy and Wingman. Okay, that's great. Now you have to get it back. You have to retrieve that map control. Let's assume that maybe there's a Sky right here, right? You're picking up your util. The Sky flashes you. You have to go back. Maybe the Sky has a dog instead. You have to pick up your util. The Sky dogs you, right? Let's say it's not a Sky. Let's say it's a Raise, right? Let's say you did the Wingman Dizzy combo and the Raise decided, oh yeah, I'm just gonna nade you off. Okay, you can't really fight that. It's pretty hard. Let's say he backed off instead of nading you that time. Okay, how is he gonna fight you again? Well, he hears you take the orb. He's gonna throw the Raise Roomba at you. He has a way of fighting you back, right? So this is the thing, though. You can gather these abilities, and you have a mosh pit, which is pretty good. This is actually like really, even though people say the timing of it is really ass, which is true, it's a pretty large ability that can literally clear like a lot of places. So it's not terrible, but you have 2 abilities that you can consistently get back every single time. You can get map control with it. Not solo all the time. It is pretty difficult to get map control solo as Gecko, which is why a lot of teams struggle with Gecko. They tend to run him as like a secondary initiator rather than a primary initiator, is what I've noticed. And usually when you run someone as a secondary initiator, he's usually the agent that plays with another agent a lot of times, preferably a duelist, right? But like I said before, it's really it is true that you will generally use less abilities in the theory side, but you also have to deal with the fact that you have to pick these up and you have to find use cases with it afterwards. Once you pick these up, once you get sight and you have these two abilities, what can you really do with a wingman and a dizzy? Like it's a little difficult to play sight control afterwards, I would say. Like, okay, maybe they tap bomb. Okay, they tap bomb. I'm gonna flash to so we can peek through. But this flash is very, very bad. Wingman flashes, or not wingman, sorry. Dizzy flashes are very like off timing. It's really easy to like, oh Dizzy's flashing. Okay, I broke it, and then like you just won't be able to get off. You won't be able to get through the smoke at all. You can also just like, oh, Dizzy flashed. Okay, I'm jumping. Maybe I whiffed the shot. I can literally jump away and dodge the flash as another option too. Now, you could technically jump away from a Nova Pulse. You could technically jump out of a Gravity Well too, but it is much easier to jump out of this, but it's a lot harder to jump out of this. This takes a lot more skill, or not skill, but timing to jump out of. This does not. This takes like literally half a second to jump out of it. And it takes a while to regenerate these abilities compared to Wingman and Dizzy that take 10 seconds to regenerate. But then you have to consider what multi-purpose and consistent use cases will I have with someone like Dizzy and Wingman. Dizzy I can use to fight a lot. Dizzy I can use to create hecticness in execs. Dizzy I can use to cause a lot of crosshair displacement. But Wingman is a little skeptical. He's a little harder. You can use him to cause chaos. You can use him to plant the spike. You can use him to tape map control, although it's not the greatest. Even though Ray's Roomba also is not the greatest. However, you can retrieve this. You cannot retrieve this. But the thing is, when you use your Wingman to take map control and you want to get it back, you need to make sure that this guy has at least another person with him in order to get this back. With Raze, because she's a little bit better by herself, if, for example, she throws this and they break it, Raze doesn't need an extra person with her at all. All Raze needs to do is maybe she decides, okay, they're in that corner, I'm throwing a Raze nade, I'm just going to start spraying. And then she gets it. Raze can get it by herself alone without Gecko's help. Gecko, on the other hand, he won't be able to do that. He will have to have more than one person behind him in order to do that. Now, if you have Astra, Astra can literally relieve the pain from these guys and throw util for them. She can throw stars, take back stars to literally walk inside and walk up this lane. She can also put it here too, to walk up this lane. She can throw a smoke here so that her Viper doesn't have to do it. She can throw maybe she knows that someone plays here consistently, so maybe instead of a smoke this time, it's going to become a suck, and maybe there's a Raze behind and they throw a Raze nade. Like, her abilities can change into 3 different things and they will all be valuable no matter what. And I forgot to mention this too, actually. Imagine post plant with these 3 alive, Serp. Let's say Spike is planted right here. And you have these 2 and maybe you have Astra right here, right? First tap, it's a Gravity Well. That's 6 seconds off the clock. Second tap, let's say it's Viper Mollies, right? Okay, that's about like how long is Viper Mollies? Like let's see. Agents, controllers, Viper Mollies is 5.5 seconds. Is it 5.5 seconds? Or is it 12 seconds? gotta lock in Viper just to see.
30 seconds left.
Is ready. Again, don't stop.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so that's outdated then. So that's outdated. But you have Viper Mollies, maybe you have 1 or 2. Usually you'll have 1, but let's say you have 2. So that's like a good 14 to 15 seconds delayed. And then you have Incendiary, which is 10 seconds. So that's another 20. That's another in total that's about like 30 to 35 seconds around there. I'm not sure if I'm doing the math correctly, but you have some pretty good post-plant answers with this too, which is a pretty huge thing. You can use Astra to take map control. You can use Astra as a secondary smokes in case your Brimstone dies. You can use Astra in post-plant. You can use her as an initiator. She can take map control. She can contain space. She has traps. She has a stall. Like, what more can you ask if you think about it? The only thing she can't really do is one of the reasons why people like someone like Harbor or Sage, right? People like to make Harbor comps, Harbor Viper comps, or like Sage comps. Is like you could do this wall, and like he'll cause like a bunch of bullets to be shot just to kill you, right? Or just to even get close to you, right? The same thing with the Harbor Bubble. If you plant aside, you have a safe plant, right? It's going to cause a lot of bullets to come towards your direction. With Astra, not necessarily. You can't really do that. What you could do though is you could do like maybe one singular. Wait, seriously? It's one singular smoke?
30 seconds left. We have plenty of time. Oh.
Is it actually one singular smoke?
Be here and now. Blocking vision.
Holy shit! It really is one. Well, not necessarily.
With concealment.
Well, kinda. Well, anyways, you can't force plants, right? That's the thing. You know, if you think about like what do Sage bring to the mix? You can force plants, right? What does Harbor bring into the mix? You can also force plants, right? When you play Harbor in this comp, you wouldn't play with the Brimstone. You'd usually play with like a Sage, right? Or maybe another initiator. Who knows? I don't fucking know, right? But like you can force plants. With Astra, you can't really do that, right? No matter what, none of these agents can really force a plant. But the thing is like, let's say I choose another initiator instead. Can I force plants with this initiator? I cannot, right? It's not possible. What about this initiator? Can I force plants? Well, in a situational perspective, let's say you know there's like 4 people on a site, and then you just pop breach ult. Well, those 4 people are going to get stunned. You can technically force plant, but it's not really a consistent use case, right? You can't consistently force plant with this initiator, right? So he's out of the mix. Can you force plant with this initiator? No, you can't. That's not possible. Can you force plant with this initiator? No, not at all. Not at all. Not one bit. Can you force plant with this initiator? Yes, you can. You have this ability. This ability allows you to force plant. So this guy is capable of doing it. But that's also assuming that like, you know, they don't have like 4 people fucking spotting that shit. So if there's like a person right here, well bam, that's no longer a force plant. So that's not fully possible, but it has its use case, right? So you can technically do it, right? What's another initiator that I'm missing? Am I missing any other initiators? I don't think so. I think I have all the initiators on the board. Cypher, I mean, back on the old team, on Wombo Combo, we consider Cypher an initiator, even though he's not. But he has an initiator-like abilities, right? He has a recon, passive info, and he has smokes, right? He's a very flexible agent. Can he force plant? No, he can't force plant. That's not possible. He just has a lot greater info. Can Astra force plant as an initiator? No. So you consider all these initiators. Who can really force plant? This guy. He can force plant. He can force plant. Everyone else cannot. when you have agents like these guys can force plant all they want. So they have the option to brute force a lot more and take site. Can you brute force with these agents? You can brute force with Astra somewhat. You have the ability to isolate a lot of the areas that they could potentially be, right? You can literally throw something here and maybe throw something here as an exec. Maybe you have this typical exec util, right? You have the double smokes from Brimstone right here and right here. Maybe there's a Viper Molly going into the backside. Plus a raise nade. Let's throw the raise nade right here. Right, this is pretty good. And then you have the typical flash that comes like either backside or around the corner right here, right? You have options. So can you force sight? Like, can you force sight control? Brute force is what we'll call it. Can you brute force with Astra in this character or in this comp? Yes, you can. You can brute force really well with her. She has a lot of options. You can throw maybe a concuss here. You can throw literally a suck right here and concuss here. That's literally full U-haul control. You have the options for those, right? Okay, what about Sova? Can I brute force sight with Sova? If you have a drone, sorry, hold on, let me do this again. If you have a drone, you can technically provide info for your team so that they can do the brute forcing. So these guys will do the brute force abilities, while this guy would just get you info, right? So he's not necessarily brute force capability if he has drone, right? If he has dart, it's a little bit of the same thing. He can be a body, but he can't necessarily brute force. If he has shock darts, you have a somewhat of an answer to brute force. You can, instead of maybe your raise throwing the nade, you have your Sova throw maybe a shock dart off of here. So it would come off like this, right? That's an option that you can do, but it's not necessarily brute force, right? So this agent doesn't have brute force capabilities. What about Breach? Well, yes, Breach has brute force capabilities. I'm not going to go into detail. If you are smart, you know that Breach literally can give you sign for free, right? That goes without question. So Breach can brute force. What about Fade? Can Fade brute force? Somewhat. I mean, you can use dogs to like get like really close map control very easily. You can literally throw these abilities straight and it'll literally tag someone that's like right here. Like if you throw a Fade Dog straight here, I guarantee you that Fade Dog is literally going to turn this way and just tag him. It's very possible. You have also the C's, which is pretty good. A lot of combo potential with this one and trap potential. Haunt, it's kind of like a recon. It's a similar situation, so it's not really brute force technically, but it's info, so it's good. You have this dark cover. Is that what it's called? No, it's called Nightfall. Sorry. You have the Nightfall. That isn't necessarily brute force, but it is considered a pseudo breach stun or pseudo breach ult because of the fact that it's the same dimensions, but in reality all it does is damage you, which is pretty good. It silences you, which is pretty good, but it also shows where you are. But that doesn't mean it'll stop you and hinder you. It just does little attributes to you, but that doesn't equal brute force, right? That just equals attributes to make the person attacking life easier, but not necessarily brute force. So she's kind of like a 50-50 in this case, but I'm going to still put her here. I think she has a little bit of capabilities of brute force, right? What about KO? Can KO brute force? Yes, he has flashes, he has the knife, which is literally free info, and it disables all their traps. You have the KO ults. This is definitely brute force, so that's a capability. And you have a nade. That's very brute force. So KO falls into the brute force category. What about Gecko? Does Gecko have brute force? Honestly, he has half and half. He has half and half. His what is this guy called? Thrash? Thrash can brute force. Wingman can brute force, technically. Dizzy cannot brute force. Dizzy is not brute force at all in the slightest. Mosh Pit, I would say, has decent brute force. I wouldn't say it is an example of brute force. it is like a 50-50 of brute force. So like you have two abilities that equal 100% brute force. These are 100% brute force. And then you have two other abilities that equal 25 to 50% brute force, right? So that's not enough. So he's not necessarily a brute force agent, but does he have brute force capabilities? Yes, he does. So he's going to be with like Fade. Fade, like I said before, is like half brute force, half not. What about Cypher? Does Cypher has brute force capabilities? I mean, no. Cypher really does not have brute force capabilities. He can take space, but he does not really have brute force, right? So if we do a tier list on brute force, you have Cypher at the lowest. You have Sova here. You have Gecko. You have Fade. Then you have Breach is number 1. KO is number 2. Astra is number 3. And these are all the initiators that can brute force sight, with Breach being number 1. And Astra being number 3. Then you have these agents that, like, they don't necessarily add to the table when it comes to brute force. They just help capitalize off of that brute force, right? The only thing that Harbor has that allows you to brute force is like maybe Ult, right? Ult is a pretty good brute force ability, but Wall not necessarily. Wall isn't really a brute force. It's kind of a brute force capitalization ability, but it's not brute force, right? Cascade isn't brute force either. It's a brute force capitalization ability. The same with I just reversed him. Cove, sorry, is not a brute force, nor is Cascade, right? Harbor only has one ability that allows you to brute force. Sage, similar situation. She can't brute force with the wall, but she can capitalize off of the brute force with her wall. So when you take a look at this, technically Breach is better when it comes to brute force. KO is also better when it comes to brute force, and Astra is number 3. These agents all suck at brute forcing, respectively, and that's okay. These agents right here all have capabilities and special attributes to capitalize off of brute force, but they don't add to the table necessarily. They just help you in the later run, right? Sage is really good helping you in the later run. Also, Sage has incredible stall, similar to Astra. Breach doesn't have that great amount of stall. And nor does KO either. So, you're stuck between this. If you're thinking for a long-term composition that you want to run that has a lot of options, a lot of answers, and a well opportunity for fighting and also stalling, what would you choose? Would you choose the Sage, or would you choose the Astra after explaining it a little bit more? If you're looking for a long-term comp, what would be your choice? Two-Bit, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. Long-term, like spanning a meta? What do you mean by that question? I keep the Sage and swap the Brim for Astra? Okay, that's also an option too. That's also an option. I agree with that. That's what most teams or most people tend to do, right? The only thing about for me is that, in my opinion, if I think about specific strengths, I would say specific strengths wise, Sage outclasses Astra in a in an important list of specific strengths, especially when it comes to a map like Bind, right? But if I'm considering less about specific strengths and more about like fluidity, which I believe is very important for comps, I would say someone like Astra provides a lot more fluidity to the map, even with the Brim and the Viper. She has the capability of fulfilling a secondary role if needed, right? So if Brim dies, she can fulfill that role still. She has the opportunity to be fluid. She can fulfill double roles. She can be a better space taker than all these other agents, because if you think about who makes the space, a lot of the times in the regular comp, let's say you have a Sage, right? Who makes the space primarily? It's these two. These two are the ones that are making space. This one kind of makes space every now and then. She can add to the table sometimes. These two don't necessarily make space. One of them contains space really well, but she doesn't make space, right? She has to lurk. If you think about space making util in this instance, right? But Astra can alleviate that pain and allow these two to be a little bit more fluid. And another thing is too is that she can also make these two lives easier as well, because now these two can pursue different roles. One of them, let's talk about Brim for a second. Brim can literally take more contact than ever before. He can literally decide to play wherever he wants, no matter what, because Astra will always fulfill that role if need be. Brim can play here, and Astra can literally say, okay, I'm going to take care of everything on this side of the map. Brim, you take care of denying this part of the map, right? Red Dot, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream, man. We're talking about a potential bind comp, since you came here just now. And my potential bind comp was basically the standard, and then you have Astra as the final piece. I'm pretty late to the stream, but this reminds me of the Silver Fracture thing you said on Twitter about having another agent take first contact. Yeah. Yeah. That's a great way of looking at it, actually. The point is that Silver Fracture, although it's not really like amazing, I don't think Silver Fracture is amazing. I just know how to understand it. I just personally wouldn't go out of my way to work with it. But, you know, it's the fact that like you get certain attributes with the Silver Fracture that you wouldn't get with other comps, right? Which is the thing about like, you know, when you consider like weird comps, you want to consider like, okay, what does it do that the meta comp cannot do? And if this is what it does, how applicable is it? Like, is this something that like will be consistently applicable enough that I can get value off of it? And if so, why? In this case, I chose Astra because Astra is very applicable. Everyone knows how to run Astra and Bind. It's not hard. You can use her for many different purposes, and like she is very strong in general, whether you like it or not. And she alleviates so many roles. That's why I'm like, Astra might be the move. Can I give you a TLDR? Sure. So, on this stream, we were talking about who can be the fifth agent for the normal comp, right? You have a bunch of options. I'm going to quickly lay them out real quick. I'm also going to delete these two lines. Who can be the fifth option? It could be Chamber. It could be Breach. It could be Gecko. It could be Fade. It could be KO. I'm going to put the initiators here. It could be Cypher. It could be KJ. It could be Yoru. It could be Sova. It could be Reyna. It could be Jet. It could be, I mean, Deadlock is a brand new agent, but, you know, it could be her too. It could be Neon. It could be Sage. It could be... What are something that people run? Nothing out of the ordinary, but like what do people run that I'm missing? Harbor, I mean not really. No, not Harbor. No. No, definitely not. I don't think I'm missing much, but like you have all these options that people normally choose from, right? You have all these options, and all of them have their capabilities. Towards the beginning of the stream, if you want to go back in the VOD, you can, Red Dot. I put a large list of reasons why someone would want to run any of these agents, right? I put it all in like one word explanation, so it's really easy to understand like what their primary role is. In scrims, you go to cheats and you menu, and you should lock in 2 Vipers and 1 Brim. New meta. I like that. I like that idea. But you know, all these agents have insane powers and insane capabilities. However, I've found that this agent right here might actually be one of the better options in terms of fluidity, consistency, brute force, post plant, map control, and what's the last one? And being in an fuck, I forgot the last one. But I mentioned a lot of points right here that these agents cannot do, right? A lot of them have a lot of drawbacks, right? They have a very consistent role. Cypher does not have necessarily a consistent role. Cypher is probably the most flexible agent in this game, which is why, you know, you see teams like Fnatic, for example, current Fnatic, not old Fnatic. Current Fnatic, they literally won with, you know, 14-12 with Alpha Year literally on Cypher. And Cypher is a very consistent agent on this map. Very good agent overall. But I've found that Astra has a little bit more fluidity, not a little bit more fluidity than Cypher, but she has other options that Cypher does not have. And I think that if you consider the way Bind likes to be run as a map, Astra can really fulfill a lot of those roles a lot better than any other agents that these people can do. So that's kind of like the TLDR of why I think Astra could be a better 5th than all these agents, except probably Cypher. I think Cypher would still be one of the best 5th agents for Bind so far. Let me organize this. I don't like the way this is ranked. Sentis, Initiators, Duelist. Technically, Gecko's an Initiator. And then Deadlock at the bottom. Yeah, no problem. I hope it helps. I hope it helps. My goal is to pretty much just like help the community, like just think a little bit outside the box. Like, you know, if you just look at an agent, like for example, if I looked at this alone, I'd be like, why do you have triple smokes? You have no info. You have no map control, right? Like nah, we're sleeping on my boy Phoenix. Phoenix is pretty good. I think Phoenix's abilities work really well on this map. I just don't think Phoenix is a strong agent as a whole. But you know, that's just an opinion. I think a lot of people would either disagree or like agree with. I don't know. A lot of people have different takes for Phoenix on this map. Phoenix in general, I would say. Did you see the Gecko fracture by Apex today? I did not. I did not, unfortunately. But I would love to see it. I'll check it out. And I think Deadlocks is like dead last, right? This is probably right here is probably your 4 most consistent 5th agent for Bind, right? These are your consistent 4. But I think Astra could be a better 5th than anybody in this entire section, except Cypher. I think Cypher will always be good. So, yeah. Have you seen these comps from FPX? No. But I did see one of them. I did see their... I think it was... Fracture, if I remember correctly? I'm trying to see. I know I saw one comp a while back that I was like, ooh la la, like this is what they're cooking. But I don't know if I watched it fully. No, this is FPX, okay. Arbor Viper, no, this looks normal. This looks normal. Where's FPX? Here, Trace One Esports. Lotus. Oh my god, this is an interesting one. Okay. This is pretty normal. Well, not normal, it's actually pretty unordinary, but I'd like it. Look at Ascent and Pearl. They do something I thought about. Look at the VLR link above. What do you mean? Alright, let's just go to stats real quick. Okay, Ascent. They ran... Ooh, okay. This is interesting. And then you said Pearl, right? Ooh, okay. I like this. Let's see this. Alright, let's see. So we got Omen, we got Astra. Oh, you sent a link in chat. Whoops. Whoops, my bad. Okay. So this is interesting. You got Omen, you got Astra, you have Sky for Pearl, and then for Haven or Ascent, sorry. Wait, this is the same exact match. What am I doing? For Ascent, you have Omen, Astra, Sky. Okay, this is interesting. I like it. That's actually pretty cool. Did they win this? They did. So, let me actually show you something. I think there was another team that already did this idea before FPX. I am doing my best. Thank you, sir. Fancy United Esports is a team in Vietnam. They actually did this comp back when... Excuse me. They did this comp back when Chamber was broken. Where is it? Here it is. Okay, cool. So this is for LCQ. I saw this a while back. They also did a Breach version, but essentially their comp was Omen, Astra, KO, Breach or Fade, and then Chamber, right? That sounds pretty over the top, but they were genuinely either shitting on their opponents or they were losing like fucking crazy. No shot, you store this in your brain. Dude, Red Dot, I'm gonna tell you right now, I've been watching Pro Val for like 3 years. I remember some of the most obnoxious things. You don't understand, Red Dot. I remember shit from 2020. I literally remember shit from 2020. In 2020, people used to run triple duelists as split comps, okay? Who was Fancy United a year ago? Bro, if you don't know who Fancy United was a year ago, you're not a true Fancy United fan. I'm a true Fancy United fan, bro. I've been watching these guys since Chamber was broken. Okay? You saw the Latam triple controller Cypher Phoenix comp? No, I did not. I'm just curious to see that too. I think they also did this comp on Haven as well, if I remember correctly. Did they do it on Haven? No, it doesn't. Oh, wait. Oh, it did. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. I was right. Okay, cool. Wow, they got shit on really bad. Okay, never mind. But they had the same concept. Yeah, send it. Ooh, we love Talon triple duelist. I'm so curious about what was the decision behind that. Also, I'm gonna post a screenshot on Twitter. I want to see what the community thinks. They're probably gonna be like, "What a fucking moron! Like, what are you cooking? Her bro's cooking nothing. Bro's onto something or whatever." But I you know, even though I think a lot of people are, you know, not that smart. No offense. I think a lot of people jump to conclusions too fast
I still like to, take in what people have to say because I think like even if they say something that may or may not be correct, they could have like some really good reasoning behind it, and I would be like, okay, that's sick. Like maybe they're onto something that like I don't know of or I didn't consider. Both teams ran it. Let's see. All right, what is this? We got. Oh, I remember this. This was February 8th. Yeah, this was a while ago. This was a while ago. Okay. Um. Okay. I do remember posting this on Twitter when I first saw it. If I were to tell you what I remember from this VOD alone, I'm gonna be straightforward with you, Tim. You'd expect map control to be impossible with this. Like, for example, I want to open up another Valpine. Next stream, you should VOD this game. That would be awesome. I think I've done it before, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't remember seeing any usage of smokes, which is kind of ironic considering that you have fucking 3 smokes and Cypher, so that's 4 smokes in the game. You have 4 smoke agents, and you have no smokes down. Explain to me what the fuck is that? You know what I mean? Like, how does that work? Yes, exactly. I'm forgetting the key point here. Latam. Latam is like, they have some pretty cool ideas. I gotta give Latam credit. They do have some like really, like, if you think about it, and in your perfect world scenario, these comps could literally be insane. But then when you actually give it to a player, expectation, but then you get hit with reality, and then it's just like, well, shit. I still hold true that our Ascent comp is God tier. Which one? The Phoenix Chamber one? This one? Yeah, this one's pretty good. Knight's Ascent will never be beat. Bro, okay, I would get slow is cool on the stream one day because we used to make Twitter comps. I'm not sure if you have been following me for a long time, Red Dot, but Phoenix one. Yeah, this was Mad Science's one of Mr. Funhaber's comps that he made. It was a pretty good comp. It was pretty good. You actually had some really nice map control than you would actually imagine. But speaking of which, let me go to Twitter. So, oh wait, wrong place. I gotta go to Google. Let me quickly show you guys my old resume, because I listed down the Twitter comps that me and Slow is Cool made. It was like a long time ago. It was back when what the fuck is it? Or you know what? Hold on. No, it's okay. Right. Okay, here it is. So, if I scroll down here, I've had like trials with like a couple of like top teams that I put down when I was trying to. I remember Mini was like, "Oh, we need a assistant coach for Fnatic." At the time, I was like, "Okay, yeah, I need to, shoot my shot, even though I might not make it." And I also included a section called Twitter threads where it's like literally comps that I've made just for like entertainment purposes. So this was one of the comps that we made on Breeze. It literally has me tagged in it too. We made it was Sova KO, Brimstone, Neon, and Viper. Where this inspiration came from was actually Gen G, old Gen G, back when they were in NA. Where the fuck is Gen G? Oh, here. So we took inspiration for that Breeze comp. Where the am I stupid? Where the fuck is Breeze? Oh, wait, hold on. Wrong already. Damn, Breeze has been gone for that long? That's insane. Okay, here. They were playing in LCQ with this comp, and they beat like 100 Thieves at the time. This was back when like Reyna was still meta. And like we saw this and we were like, Brimstone on Breeze? So we were like, huh, I wonder how you can run Brimstone on Breeze. And we talked it through. We talked it through for like a lot of hours, and then we made this, and we were just like, you know what? Let's post this. Like, let's see what people think. And like, King was also like, blink twice if he's holding you hostage and everything. Like, it was a good time. We also made a Icebox comp. It's kind of ironic considering that both of the comps we've made for maps, they are no longer in the map pool. But we made an Icebox comp. I don't really like this comp as much as I thought it would be cool, but it was a pretty nice idea in theory. Then I made a lot of like Twitter threads, you know, just to show people that like, hey, I'm not that much of an idiot. Like, you know, I have some pretty good ideas if you just, you know, think outside the box. But Knights Ascent literally will never be beat. Chamber, Ray, Sage, Omen Sova. I know why they said it. The prac before I started, that was the comp they were running, LOL. What are you guys talking about? Oh, you're talking about the Ascent comp you guys run? Glad you changed your mind because we destroy that comp. Is that a screenshot of you taking a scrim clip of you fucking against the comp? That's fucking crazy. Alright, thank you, man. I'm gonna head out, but thank you for the explanation. No problem, Red Dot. Thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it, my boy. I hope you enjoyed it, and you know, sorry, I just checked this. I just checked Discord. I really hope you enjoyed the stream, and like, you know, I hope you you know, if you ever have a team and you want to suggest like a fifth agent, you know, try Astra. I think she could be the move. I really do think she could be the move. Cypher will obviously be the best in my opinion, but I think Astra ranks like second or third up there, you know? I think she has some pretty good attributes there. KOS best agent, thank you. Yeah, I agree. KO is definitely the best agent. I love you talk before you go watch Jack Ryan. Tim, you gotta remember I was coaching Wombo Combo and we ran KO on every map. I think I know everything about KO more than I should know. And I used to be a KO main in ranked, so that makes it even worse. That makes it literally even worse, so. But anywho, yeah. That's it for the stream. You know, if you guys have any more questions, you know, reach out to me. Twitter DMs are always open. I want to do a stream tomorrow. I just don't know what I want to stream. But, you know, I'll figure it out. You know, I like trying new ideas. I think this was probably my first time not doing a VOD review stream. So, you know, that was a pretty good time. Does he know he's muted? I'm not muted. I'm not stupid. I went to go check OBS just in case. You almost had me there, though. You almost had me there. To go check OBS. See, I even unmuted the stream just to make sure. Anywho's, okay. Had one for stream. This is what I ultimately came up with as the potentially the weird but new meta bind comp. Obviously, the best pick. Race, Sky, Astra, Brame, Vopper. What are... Now I'm just gonna put thoughts. I can't hear this fucker. I'm literally speaking directly. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm literally speaking directly in the mic. I don't know how you can't hear me. Watch over. Chamber's obviously the best pick. Totally. My operator. Oh my god. My operator, man. I know Tim is fucking with me. I know. I'll wait till you finish. I just finished writing the tweet now. Also, I think I didn't. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't go too into depth of how Astra could be run, like in a team setting. Like for example, I didn't show any defaults. I didn't show any execs. I did show execs actually, but I didn't show any defaults with her. But I did show like her capabilities solo and the team play, so it works. I think that's more than enough. I think like when it comes to defaults and all that stuff, you can ultimately think about what you want it to be. You know, it's up to you. You know, defaults is all about being creative. I would say, um, but also getting map control too. What did you ask me? No, I didn't ask you anything. Well, I don't think I asked you anything at least. Or I don't remember, I should say. All is well, all is well. Oh, fuck, what was I telling you? Oh, I remember. I was saying that you have to realize that like I was on a team. You said KO is KO best agent, right? You have to realize, Tim, I was on a team that literally played KO on every single map. Wombo Combo would not go a day without putting Jaesung on KO and either Jaesung dropping 35 kills or dropping sub 15 kills. Like that boy knew more KO tech than I could possibly imagine. And like, as someone that was already a KO main and ranked, imagine coming from ranked playing KO just to watch my player play KO, and I'm just like, well, fucking shit. Like, why can't I do this in ranked? Is what I'd be asking myself sometimes. Because I just see this guy get 4Ks out of nowhere. Thin air was just one flash, and I'm just like, well, shit. Yeah, that's about it. That's all I wanted to say. You could leave now. Go watch your Jack Ryan. Thank you for stopping by also. Appreciate it. Bye bye. See you later, everyone. Thank you for stopping by too.